Greetings everyone, slizzle466 here, and in today's video we're looking at my top 5 Darkmoon Races cards for the Wild mode. The first card we're looking at here is Nitro Boost Poison. It's a dual class card for Rogue and Warrior, 1 mana spell, give a minion +2 attack, corrupt, and your weapon. Now this is a little bit similar to Cold Blood, which is a 2 mana spell. It got nerfed from 1 mana. Give a minion +2 attack, combo, give it +4. And it's also similar to Deadly Poison, which is a 1 mana spell, give your weapon +2 attack. Now, what I really like about this card is it is kind of a combination of the two. It costs 1 mana. And I can see this working in Kingsbane Rogue. You can think of it as kind of a mini Sharp Sword Oil. You can also use it in Odd Rogue for sure. I actually think it might even be better in Odd Rogue, because with Odd Rogue it's more board based. You don't rely on your weapon that much, so if you don't necessarily corrupt the card, it's still 1 mana +2 burst. As with the corruption, keep in mind that off Secret Passage it might be tricky to corrupt it because you draw the card and then you have to hope you have something more than one. It could get a little clunky. But with the warrior aspect though, if we think of Pirate Warrior has become a very minion based deck. Yes, it uses some weapons, but it's very big on flooding the board full of pirates. So again, it's nice that by default you've got the +2 attack on the minion, but it also might be the case if you manage to corrupt it with one of your, say, a South Sea Captain or even one of your cannons. You can also give your weapon a bit of a boost. So I'm really excited for this card, and I think it's definitely going to be around in the meta for a while. The next card I want to look at is Conjure Mana Biscuit. Now, this might be our first cookie biscuit themed card in Hearthstone. We've already got some bakery themed cards, for example, Priest of the Feast with his funnel cakes. But jokes aside, this is a 2 mana spell for mage. Add a biscuit to your hand that refreshes 2 mana crystals. Now, I'm assuming that this biscuit is going to cost 0 mana, but do be careful. It's not like an innovate. It's not like you're gaining 2 mana crystals. You're refreshing 2 mana crystals. Now, I think this card is incredibly flexible in a wide range of different mage decks. It might be good in some slower control mage decks. It is definitely going to be good in Reno Quest Mage as well as Quest Mage, especially in Quest Mage with the Flame Wakers, just getting that extra bit of damage in with the Biscuit. The Biscuit also counts towards the quest, so I think this is a card that's probably going to replace one of the spells in Quest Mage, maybe Primordial Glyph, for example. But definitely outside of Quest Mage, I think this is going to potentially bring up some surprise mage decks that people may not necessarily have thought of yet. Next card I want to look at is Shenanigans. This is a 2 mana rogue secret. When your opponent draws their second card in a turn, transform it into a banana. Now, Secret Rogue is currently not particularly strong in Wild. I don't think this card's going to push Secret Rogue over the edge. This might be a cute card to run in, say, a Mill Rogue or Arena Rogue, for example. But what I personally really like about the card is it's really frustrating to play around for your opponent. So keep in mind, it's when they draw their second card. So they draw their first card, and then let's say they're a mage and they play an Arcane Intellect. Or if they're a Warlock and they life tap. It's going to be super frustrating for them, especially if they lose a key card. And hilarious because it becomes a banana. 1 mana spell, give a minion +1/+1. Even a Reno Priest who plays their Novice Engineer to draw a card and turns their Raza into a banana. I just think this card's hilarious. It may not necessarily be good, but it's definitely one of my top 5 for the upcoming mini set. The next card that I'm excited for is Backfire. This is a 3-mana Warlock spell. Draw 3 cards, deal 3 damage to your hero. So if you compare this to, say, Arcane Intellect, you draw 2 cards. In this case, you're paying an extra mana to draw 3 cards, but you're taking 3 damage as a punishment. However, as we've learnt with Warlock, that's not always necessarily a punishment. You could run this card in Darkmoon Warlock, however, it's probably going to be a little bit too slow. You may not necessarily need to play this, and it might just end up sitting in your hand. But I could also see this nice in maybe a very heavy cycle Warlock deck. Maybe Mechathune starts to make a comeback. Maybe some sort of heavier cycle Reno Lock potentially. Maybe even Cube Lock might want to run this card. But definitely drawing cards is very powerful, and it's something that Warlocks do very well. And I suspect that this card is either going to break Warlock even more than it already is, or it's just going to be a nice way to cycle through your deck. The last card I want to look at here is Death Warden. This is a neutral card, 3 mana 2/5. Death Rattles can't trigger. Now, if you follow my content, you probably know that I do tend to lean towards the more aggressive decks. I really like playing Odd Rogue. I like playing aggro Paladin decks, whether it's an egg-based one or a Murloc one. I like to dabble in a bit of Odd Paladin too. But one thing that really upsets me is when my Warlock opponents, for example, put down their Voidcaller and cheat out their Void Lord, and then I get upset because they can't do anything. Well, now when they play their Voidcaller, I can say, I don't think so, bub, and just attack into their Voidcaller and it's gone. This is also nice against Coniferous Cubes, for example. It's also a nice tech against Big Priest. Nothing is more frustrating against a Big Priest when they've got their Scrapyard Colossus getting their extra 7/7 off the Death Rattle, or an Obsidian Statue that's going to deal with some of your board. Those are just a couple of examples of where this card might be good. Again, it is a tech card, and as we've seen with many tech cards, if you're against a deck that doesn't really rely on Death Rattles that much, it's just going to be a dead card. But it is a card that will catch players off guard if you're running it, and I think it's worth a try, just for the fun of making your opponent miserable in that select single game. So I hope you enjoyed this video of my sharing of my personal top 5 cards for the upcoming Darkmoon Races mini set. If you want to support this channel, you can click the subscribe button, click the notification bell, and before you leave, let me know what your top 5 cards are in the comments. Let me know what you're most excited about for this upcoming mini set. Until next time, hope to see you again.